Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and I am back today to share a card that I created for International Women's Day, which is today. And I thought it would be perfect to use Erin Lee Creative's Grl Pwr stamp set along with the winter florals. I went into this card thinking I was going to do something completely different, and it kind of morphed as I was creating and coloring. Sometimes that happens, and it's okay because I ended up really loving this card. So my original idea was to frame the girls with all these florals. So it was actually going to be a circular frame. However, when I started stamping the florals, I really liked how it looked at the bottom of the panel, and I decided to just keep on stamping. I also wanted to add a circular frame around them, but do a partial die cut. So I have the piece of the card that I don't want die cut hanging out, and I just ran that through my die cut machine. So it only cut a partial circle and the rest is intact. I also went in with my scissors just to cut off the excess, and I have this circle that is around the girls. I also drew in 2 lines just to create a ledge for them to be sitting on, and I used a Copic friendly pen to do that. As I was coloring this image, I was using Copic markers, and it's actually not very difficult to color these images because there's so many details within the floral stamps themselves. There's a lot of different lines, and you really could go in with one Copic marker and color up each of the areas that you want. But I'm so used to using multiple markers and adding a bit of dimension that I just couldn't help myself. So that's what I did for the coloring here. I thought that it would be really pretty. So it looks like a little ledge where there are flowers right behind them. It kind of reminds me of the Shakespeare Garden in Golden Gate Park, where it's just really pretty florals and there's benches and you can just kind of sit and stare at whatever you want to. And it's just really relaxing. Originally, the frame that is around them was just to frame them. And the more that I looked at it, when I drew in that ledge, it kind of looked like they were looking at the sunset or sunrise or maybe even the moon. When I kept coloring, I decided to use a bunch of reds and pinks because I did want this to be very feminine and with bright colors. I really like how the red and pink pop because I will be coloring in that ledge with some warm grays. So I really wanted the florals just to stand out against that. And when I was coloring these florals, I am just reminded of how much I really love them. I actually had a plan to use them in my planners for my layouts, but I just never got the chance. It will probably be something that will pop up eventually in my planner. For the ledge, I just colored it in with some warm grays and filled up those areas. It was a little tough because these florals are so detailed, and I didn't want to accidentally go over any of the green areas or any of the florals because it would dull down the entire coloring of them, and it just took a bit of time to color that up. I also had contemplated whether I wanted to add a bit of texture to make it look like a stone ledge, but I decided against it because there was so much going on and I really wanted the florals to be a focus as well as the girls, so I just kept it with a solid gray. For this little circle, I decided that I was going to color it to look like the moon, and I really haven't colored a moon before, so I just went in with a bunch of streaks. I picked really light colors. There's C00, C1, and BV00 because it adds in a bit of a blue violet element. I like to use that for clouds sometimes, and I thought it would be perfect for a moon. And I just pulled out a piece of blue cardstock because I wanted it to be the background to depict a nighttime sky. And this blue I picked was a little bit bright, so I had to search through my stash and look for a darker blue, which I eventually did. But because I put it against this brighter blue, the moon coloring didn't look super dark. So I went in with even darker colors, which was the C1. It just has a stronger gray than the C00 because the C00 you can barely see. And then I went in with a darker BV color. So I liked how it turned out. It's not going to be perfect, but I was fine with how it looked. And then I'm just going to go in and color the girls. I'm doing my normal Copic coloring for most of my images where I have 3 colors per coloring area, and I have a dark color, mid-tone, light tone color, I go in with my darkest shade for the shading, blend it out with the mid-tone, and then go in with my light tone to blend everything together. So this is another color heavy video, and I hope you guys don't mind. I just really wanted to create this card, and I have put out, I think, 3 videos in a row for the first time ever, and that's only because I really have started just videoing everything I do regardless of whether I'm actually going to edit it down to upload or not. I thought that this was a really fun one to share. I've also been doing reels over on Instagram, which is kind of just a sped up process of my videos without the explanations, but you can kind of see what I'm doing step by step. I have been enjoying them, but I am doing them in parallel when I am creating a card. So my editing takes a little bit longer because I have to edit out all the parts where I kind of stop to do the reel portion. And so if you're interested, I'll have my Instagram listed below and you guys can join me over there. I know that there's so many types of social media right now. There's Instagram, there's TikTok. I'm actually over on there too, but I'm sharing the same videos that I am on my Instagram Reels. So if you follow me on one of them, then you've seen them. It just seems silly that there's so many different outlets these days, and who can keep up? I was really adverse to doing Reels and TikTok, but I actually find it really fun because you can see the process of the coloring in 15 seconds, which kind of like limits out all the other stuff, but you do miss any of the coloring and the detail and how you actually get there. So there is a downside, and then there's the pro. There's always pros and cons to everything, right? So I've been really enjoying it. So hopefully you guys have been too. And I've been just really enjoying all the cards that I've been making and creating, and hopefully it shows because I've just been putting out more videos and I've really enjoyed it. I also just really think that it's been fun in my creative outlet because I have been kind of just so over this pandemic. I just want to do something normal, which I actually did. I went indoor dining for the first time ever. Well, not ever, but like in the past year. And we went just like about 2 hours ago. So it was like 7:30 at night, and there's this restaurant near my house. It had opened during COVID, which I can't even imagine the stress around that. But there wasn't anyone there. So we decided to sit inside because now we have limited seating inside. And it was just so nice to have something be sort of normal and do a normal activity. You don't realize that you miss it until it's taken away. So it's just one of those small things that you take for granted. So I was really happy I was able to do that. And hopefully it's just a sign that we're going back to normal soon. And that's the hope. So for the sentiment, I am using the sentiment that's in the Grl Pwr stamp set. It is a stack sentiment, so I decided to stamp it on a piece of masking. I wanted to sit on one line. So I stamped it, and then I cut the mask at the top area and removed it so I could stamp that top area. Then I used the bottom area to kind of place where I wanted the stamp to be, and that kind of just showed me where exactly I wanted to stamp it. Once I did that, I put the masking paper together, kind of like a puzzle, and then I removed the bottom so I was able to stamp that bottom portion. It's just a nice trick to use when you are a person that does not like doing stamp surgery. I rather just spend that extra time to mask them. For the sentiment itself, I kind of wanted to tie in the warm gray of the ledge, so I went ahead and just covered over the sentiment with the same Copic markers as the ledge. I added liquid adhesive to the image itself and then attached it to a dark blue cardstock. And once I did that, I added the sentiment, and this card is complete. So I hope you enjoy it. Happy International Women's Day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.